I know everybody may not see it, but if y'all see the tweets, definitely it's great to like it. It's even better to go ahead and tweet it out as well, too, man. So let me go ahead and get to this. Like I say, while the phone is lasting, let me go ahead and dig into the actual conversation for the night. I'm gonna touch up on both of these articles. The France article, I'm not gonna touch up on all that much, but I'm gonna touch it. I'm just gonna touch up on certain points of it. And like welcome to the real world, France. Welcome to what's been going over here in the Americas. uh, your people are finally kind of standing up or whatever, getting a little backbone to them. So welcome to the reign of the Western supremacy that runs pretty much the entire global world. So hey, I don't feel the least bit sorry for France. Hopefully they get a little bit of taste of their own medicine. What's going on over there as well too? Because be for real, they still got a good bit of West Africa colonized as well too. So I don't feel least bit sorry for what's going on over there in France. But I want to touch up on that, and I want to touch up on the final reparation report coming up from California as well too. So guys, let's go ahead and get it started. Because like I said, my phone, I left the damn charger today running around, so we ain't gonna be in here too long like we normally do. So let me go ahead and get it in and get to the actual articles. Let me say shout out to those that's over there in YouTube right now. They're kind of light over there, but guys, like I said, we'll be back at our regular time tomorrow at 8 p.m. And let me up in the jumbotron. It says unrest erupts for the third day in France over police shooting of an African teen. Thousands hold vigil. Like I said, I'm just going to touch up on this one briefly, not go really into it. President Emmanuel Macron battled to contain a mounting crisis on Thursday after unrest erupted for a third day over the deadly police shooting of a teenager of North African descent during a traffic stop in the Paris suburb. Oh, yeah, this comes from Black Enterprise as well, too, guys. Curator Newstoter.com platform. Protesters set several cars alit in a working class town on the western outskirts of Paris following a largely peaceful street protest in memory of a 17-year-old who was shot dead there on Tuesday. Television images showed protesters setting up road barricades and hurling projectiles at lines of police who fired back with tear gas. At least one Paris bank was ransacked. Vengeance for Nahal, he was scrawled across buildings and bus shelters, referring to the youngster. Earlier, Macron held a crisis meeting with senior ministers over the shooting. Prime Minister Elizabeth Borne afterwards amidst calls for some political opponents for a state emergency to be declared. The Interior Minister said 40,000 police officers will be deployed across the country, nearly 4 times the numbers mobilized on Wednesday, including 5,000 in Paris region, in a bid to quell the unrest. The response of the state must be extremely firm, the minister said, speaking from the northern town where several municipal buildings were set afire. The Paris incident has fed long-standing complaints of police violence and systematic racism inside law enforcement agencies from right groups and within the low-income, racially mixed suburbs that ring major cities in France. The local prosecutor said the officer involved has been put under formal investigation for voluntary homicide. So yeah, they Paris has a bunch of different things. France has a bunch of different things going over there. So under France legal system, being placed under formal investigation is akin to being charged in the Anglo-Saxon jurisdictions. So we'll see if they get any kind of justice over there as well too. Like I said, I'm not going to touch upon it, but everybody's been seeing images of the police battling out with the citizens and just a bunch of fires and buildings being set ablaze over there as well too. So bunch of different things going on over there in France. Shout out to everybody that's up in the space as well too. I hope the space ain't freezing up because I see everything is like moving slow. DJ, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good, bro.
Okay, because it kind of froze up when I was getting ready to come back over here. So let me go ahead and let me touch up real quick on the actual the California reparations as well too. Let me touch up on that. Let me know, DJ, if you can't hear me for any second, because like I said, it kind of froze up for a second, so I didn't know if I had lost anything or anything, but everything's kind of okay. This is from the Sacramento Observer, curator of Newstoter.com platform. It's titled Reparations. Task Force releases one 100-page 100-page final report. The auditorium of the March Fong E building was packed with anticipation and joy Thursday morning when California's Reparation Task Force released its 100-page final report, the first document of its kind in American history. The agenda was filled with personal testimonies from families affected by the state and public comment, followed by the 9 task force members expressing their journey and creating recommendations before handing them over to the Secretary of State, Dr. Shirley N. Weber, who created the task force, which included civil and human rights leaders, academics, lawyers, psychologists, and elected officials. Dr. Weber said the document leaves no question as to why reparations are needed. This country has shaped and formed us, and we have given to it, and we have a right to be here, said Dr. Weber. We have a right to have the benefits, and we have the rights of those who acknowledge the harms that's done and begin the process. The report goes to the state legislature to implement a range of remedies and how the state would pay for it and identify the qualified recipients. Senator Stephen Bradford, who has been in office for 25 years, called his work on the task force the most impactful public service he will do in his career. Bradford said the task force made numerous worthy and essential recommendations on what recommendations could encompass. It could include cash payments. It could include free tuition to our UCs and CSUs. It could be as first-time home buyer assistance, down payment, interest-free loans, state tax relief, free health care, on and on. Bradford said, let's be clear and honest. The cost of reparations will be high, but make no mistake, the harms that are done are just as tired and hard. And the disparities created continue to this day. Now comes the hard work turning this into a reality. So, he gave a wide range of what can be done, what certain things that they said that could be included into it, a wide range of things. As I said before on numerous occasions, I believe first and foremost, cash payments are essential. I believe that cash, land, and putting laws into place are the most important things. I think that you got to have the cash on hand, you got to have the land, and then you have to back it up by actual decisions in terms of policies and everything as well too. So I don't have a problem with you talk about programs for first time home buyers and some of this other stuff and all of that if you want to include that, but that must come after the other things. You got to first have that cash, you got to get the cash up, you got to get the land up, and you got to set policies making Black people a protected class as well too. So that's what we want to cover today. Like I say, so today we're covering simply, like I say, it's going to be a quick Twitter space, guys. We're covering simply the California Reparations final report, task force final report, and we're talking about the situation going on over there in France. I've seen some spaces where a lot of Black people feel like, hey, France has its own situation. It doesn't affect us, so we don't need to worry about it. We don't need to commentate. I think as Black people, we still need to always look at world events, world news, and keep our eyes glued to what's going on in the world. Stay as informed as possible, whether you support the people, what they're doing over there or not. I think it's always good to stay informed on the situation as well too. You can't live in the world and not know what the hell is going on. So definitely stay informed on it. And like I say, you don't have to support it one way or another, but definitely when you see something going on, let's try to stay as educated and informed and up on news and current events as much as possible, because you just don't know in the world we live in today. We can't just we live in America, and what goes on here first and foremost affects us, but sometimes things that go on in the world as well too will affect the way we're affected right here in America as well too. Rivera, how you doing today?
My bad. I'm all right. I didn't mean to put the thumbs down. I'm good. How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Getting ready to clock out of work. But I agree. You know, I haven't really been in any rooms where particularly Black folk have been like, you know what, we don't need to be involved with this. This has nothing to do with us. Most of the rooms that I've been in, even here in Tulsa, people have been kind of like, yeah, they getting it in and this and that. I kind of watch what was going on. Be kind of busy, but I kind of watch what's going on in France.
Hey, Rivera, could you speak up? Can we get you a little bit louder if possible?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
Okay, I had my hand up on I'm driving. I don't really know what's really going on over there in France. I'm not too sure why that happened. I heard about the shooting of a 17-year-old boy. Tariq had posted, the kid got killed over there. that might be. I know France has already been kind of in turmoil for the past like year, but I didn't know why it escalated. That's why I'm a little confused.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much what it was. You had a teenager, 17-year-old boy of North African descent, was shot by the police officers. From what everybody's saying, basically, France has a big problem over there with systematic racism going on in their police force as well, which is not to be anything unusual, because if you look at those Western countries over there in Europe, Great Britain, and all of them that have a decent black population, all of them seem to have issues and stuff with with police brutality and everything else like that. We know about it here in America more so because the population is much bigger with black people living in this country, but nonetheless, it's going on over there in Europe as well too, especially Western Europe. And I guess it just pretty much done hit the fan. People are kind of getting tired of it and fighting back. And I know one big issue. A lot of people have been talking about the race. Like, is this a black person per se, or is this person more Muslim and this and that? So I've heard talking points along that line. Is he? I've heard that he's North. When people start saying North African descent, then they're trying to go ahead and say, well, if it's North African descent, then he's definitely not a black person. Like, they consider most black people in the world to be of sub-Saharan descent or whatever, based on the genealogy and DNA and all the other kind of stuff that I don't even want to get into. But so, you have that argument as well too. My argument is like, hey, welcome to the real world. I mean, France, Great Britain, all of them, I mean, they all have a history of anti-blackness. So it's nothing surprising to me. You hear a lot of black people from the UK talk about the treatment that they receive over there in the UK. You don't hear much about it in France, because rarely do, I really can't think of many black people that I've met from the UK. Now I know you have a lot of Haitian immigrants and stuff go to France and stuff like that, but we've met a few black people, not a whole lot, but a few black people that actually lived in the UK, and they talk about their life over there and how they're treated. So, I think this is just something where people say, hey, enough is enough. And apparently France is burning. They're burning down a lot of things over there, and I guess they're not used to the actual fight that they're actually getting over there. So it's getting pretty rough over there, and it's kind of interesting to see that. Like I said, you had the article I read, and I didn't read all of it, but you had people in the political structure wanting to declare a state of emergency, and they're trying not to go that route, because when you declare a state of emergency, then you pretty much mean that you losing all control of what's going on over there. So they don't want to go ahead and declare that, and then it just look like all hell is totally broken loose over there. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see how long this is going to play out. You have a big Muslim population apparently over there in France as well too, and like I said, it seemed like a lot of it's based on race, and a lot of it maybe also based on religion as well too. You're over there in France, so it's just one of those things, man. At this point in time, Rivera, like, hey, I've been seeing it on the news and stuff like that, and posted a couple articles on Twitter as well too, but it just it's just one of those things going on that globally sometimes you see going on in places where people are being mistreated constantly. And France, like I said, is no stranger to the mistreatment of black people. France still has a large share of the Western African nations under their actual control through neo-colonialism with the Franc dollar, whatever the hell it's called. They control their currency and the economy and everything else like that. So it's no surprise whatsoever. France has always been anti-black as well too. We know about their treatment with Haiti and how they ransacked the nation and how they held them hostage and this and that. France had a lot of the French had territories over here in the Americas, had a bunch of slaves. Louisiana purchased everything. So, France treatment of black people is no surprise to me whatsoever. And like I said, one of the big issues going on with that story, a lot of people say they don't know if the person, the people are actually black per se, or they're more Arab and this and that or whatever. I don't know. DJ, what you know about the situation?
Not too much. I'm still actually, other than the cops did kill this unarmed young man. It was other people in the car with him too at the same time. They don't. We haven't heard, or at least I haven't heard anything as far as like what was the initial reason of the traffic stop. But he did I guess, elude the police by taking off when they told them to stop. And that's when they just got the bucking on him. So he wound up crashing less than like a quarter of a block later into a what do you call those things?
The medium or something, almost a medium, a barricade.
Yeah, it's like it wouldn't be a barricade. It's more or less one of those like a retaining wall, but like like how some parks be having retaining walls, but you could just like sit on it like a stupid shit. So that's what he crashed into, I believe. It's hard to even see because whoever was filming it, they ain't really do a good job after the crash or whatever. They didn't like go to the scene, you know what I mean? They just just see it from a distance out of the car. It's just up like on a pole and shit. Like it ran up on a pole and it just got stuck there, you know what I mean? But them folks over there ain't playing, man. They burning that shit the hell down. And then just go back to what you said. Hey, France done had so much slavery going on around the world and colonizing it, just fucking shit up amongst the black diaspora. Hey, man, just a big payback, James Brown, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I say, I don't feel the least bit sorry for them. So, like I said, they still control a good number of those former French colonies over there in Africa. Their economy as well too. So I don't feel the least bit sorry for France, and hopefully more and more of them might even feel it around the way as well too. So shout out to them for finally standing up and getting a backbone.
Right, and this situation is very similar to situations we've had there. With Patrick Leoya, who was an immigrant out there in Minnesota or whatever, Minneapolis or whatever it is, who was in a stolen car and a little police and the cop shot him in the head. As well as many other situations that folks are in the car, you know what I mean? And they wind up getting shot by the police for whatever the reason, you know what I mean? Very similar.
Real talk, man. Shout out to my people over there on, like I said, in the YouTube land. I see my girl Brooke over there. I see Nightfall. What's up with you? What's going on, everybody? Dane, I see you came up to speak as well. To shout out everybody. I know this is a usual Twitter space, 5:00 in the afternoon. It is the 4th of July weekend, so trying to get it in. I know everybody's with family. You got some people finishing up work. People gonna be off tomorrow. We will be back on the regular scheduled time, and I got a special 4th of July, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Twitter space, our usual time. We're gonna be in effect. It's gonna be a good one. Later on, I'm gonna tweet it out. I need my people to go ahead and start retweeting those Twitter spaces out when y'all see it, man. Retweet it out so more people can actually find it as well too. Dana, how you doing today?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
So why did you have an early Twitter space today?
Oh, because I got some stuff to do.
Like what?
Well, family. Like a bunch of family in town and stuff.
Okay, so you don't want to give more details. Okay.
No, yeah, family.
Yeah, I don't really like this 5 p.m. slot with you, but it's whatever.
Like I say, we'll be back at our regular time tomorrow. Oh no, we ain't got no special guest. We got just a special. We gonna have a special space, just a 4th of July space, and we're gonna be talking about a number of issues. So no, we ain't got no. I wish we had a special guest, but no special guest. But I didn't know that. Why you?
Well, you were supposed to invite him to come on your space, so why don't you text him and ask him to do a space for him on his birthday?
Oh, you say his birthday is on the 5th?
Yeah, Wednesday. So ask him. I don't think he has birthday plans. I don't know, but you should text him like, "Hey, can I do a Twitter space Wednesday evening for your birthday?"
Oh yeah, well, thank you for putting me on there. So let me go ahead and see what's up on that tip there, Dana. I didn't even know about that. You should have hit me up and let me know that his birthday was coming up. Like
Yeah, well, I'm actually going to. We're supposed to do a space tomorrow. I got to see what his schedule is like, and then I'll be promoting it definitely on his birthday and tomorrow and for the rest of the month. Because he's not into that stuff. Like I'm into that. So, but yeah, so hit him up on a text, and I'll mention it to him later too.
Okay.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
So California Reparations Task Force, where do you see the report at? Because I'm just hearing hearing about it, but it's like, can you go to their website and they have the final report?
I didn't. From one of the curation sites on the site, I didn't get a chance to see the actual report. Be honest, I just covered the article that talked about it, but I haven't. I was going to ask anybody, have they getting on that too? Has anybody seen the actual report? Because it's a pretty big report, from what I'm understanding.
In France, I did a show yesterday on my YouTube channel talking about France. I should have just had the whole show about it, but I stand with the rioters, honey. And listen, this is what I said on my show yesterday. We got to understand, like, these are mainly the immigrants / refugees, Muslims, and they are like Black people here in America. It's just that they didn't build France. You know what I'm saying? Greenland, ABOS, we built this country. It's the same, but it's way different. However, people got to understand, they going, first of all, France, they protest, because it was protested earlier this year with the pension. And, like, the people that clean up the streets and the fire department, like, they had stopped working. And it was protesting for a couple of months. France has found that life, in the French Revolution. Now you have Arabs / Muslims that are over there as refugees and immigrants. And they always been treated like second class. Now, it's one time that France did colonize a couple of northern African countries where these people come from, and they got kicked out, But these people come from countries that always have multiple Arab Springs, always pushing back and protesting against governments. And in Egypt, when they uprooted Mubarak or whatever, that Egyptian president, and I think that was in 2011. That was all young people. So what we seeing now, that's young people like under 18, between 18 and 30, tearing shit up. And they already arrested 1,200 people on Friday, 700 on Saturday, because the president, I guess after his concert with Elton John, he called in 45,000 police officers to come clear up the streets and arrest these people. But what sparked it was the 17-year-old who was shot by the police officer. And mind you, in France, you're guilty, and then you have to prove yourself innocent, as opposed to the United States, you're innocent until proven guilty. So they did arrest him. They were protesting over the young boy, but also they were saying years of discrimination. In France, in 2004, when they said that, you couldn't wear your hijabs in the school, so they had to take off the hijabs, and that was like after 9/11 and stuff, 4 years after 9/11. So there was a lot of laws that they passed that was kind of going against or discriminating against the refugees. So now they tired of that shit. But I said in my show, how is that going to affect us here? And the only thing that I would say is, I don't want, particularly white people, because they do the most hate crimes, I don't want them to start doing hate crimes here in the United States towards Muslims. All my grandkids are Muslim. Don't play with me. And white people here, they're prone to do that, because on Twitter, when some of those white people here that was reporting it, they were saying a lot of racist things about Muslims. So that's really my concern, and I do stand with protesters. And I'll land right there for that.
All right, and Dane, let me ask you a quick question. What's your because I don't know if he was in the actual space when I was reading that article about some of the recommendations that they put in there, and everything they were talking about could be also about first time home buyers and this and that or whatever. Like, what in terms of what you feel like what do you really think that in terms of the actual reparations should include, just the basics in terms of what you think that Black people, if California, they go ahead and they approve of this and that, what do you think are the main things that they need to go ahead and improve in the actual reparations conversation? If they put that in the law, are you more about the cash payment, land policy, or do you feel like there's a bunch of other things that should be included as well?
I think that what I would like to see is, first, how you're going to determine it by lineage. Because it's multiple things that need to happen. You need cash payments, because there are a lot of people who would, who deserve direct payment. We need a serious economic plan, housing, definitely grants specifically for ADOS slash Freedmen. We need a lot of things when it comes to public policies, specifically for us, not nobody else, not minority, not people of color, not black and brown, specifically for us. But like I said, I need to read it because how are you going to determine, which is very important, who falls under or who's qualified for reparations? That's very important because it's lineage based. So tell me the methodology that's going to be used. That's very important, and that is a great place to start. And that's where you want to find out. Okay, well, who are these people? Where they come from? Because, like I said, a lot of those people deserve direct payment and direct repair. But then as a collective, you know what I'm saying, we are owed reparations, repair. So it's for me it's multiple things. It's not just a check, it's everything else. But the everything else has to be specifically for American descendants of slavery, black freedmen. I don't like when people say they just want to call themselves freedmen. Because what I'm starting to see now with other groups, including white people, they are going to try to chip away at any element of reparations or restitution that we receive. And it's very important to be specific. You have to say black freedmen because you want to have white people say, well, I'm freedmen too, because they were freedmen along with the black freedmen. But they don't count. So we need a whole lot of things, payments, direct cash payments, grants, education, housing, economics. We need a whole lot of things. But the thing is, I want to make sure that you have the correct methodology and everything is specified specifically only for us. But again, I need to read it as well, so I haven't read it.
So it seems like one of your concerns is making sure it doesn't fall into the category of flat blackness, where everybody pretty much black is given it.
Exactly. Yes, and I do respect and appreciate what the California Task Force is doing because it seems like they're always been very specific because they're leaning towards lineage based. Now, if you look throughout the nation right now, I'm very disappointed in other states because they have bullshit reparation task force. In New York City, they're supposed to have task force. They passed a bill for reparations for New York City. I'm like, hello, it was only 5 years ago that Representative Charles Barron he's been fighting for reparations for the last decade in New York just to be studied. So it's a campaign grab, a campaign grab marketing ploy when other states are setting up these reparations study commissions because those are the thieves. They're literally trying to get federal grant money and they're going to put it in their pocket and not do anything for the community. And that's what other places, I would say, are doing, except for California right now. And which is why I do appreciate ADOS advocacy.com with Yvette Carnell, which because that organization is literally setting up local chapters with the information and the resources to make sure on a local level, when you have these city councils saying, well, we're going to start a reparation committee, you need the people you need people to make sure that they're doing the right thing, you know what I'm saying, and making sure that you're a part of it. So what we want to see is a lot of these pop-up commissions that are just bullshit, not California. So, and then everybody's going to try to have a hand in it, especially white people. I would say they're going to try and get a piece of it before black immigrants get a piece, because that's when they're going to come out and say, well, I'm 10% black. So even though they've been checking off white. So again, it's very important on how you want to determine the lineage, But I'm curious to read the actual report.
Well, yeah, that's one thing we talked about in a number of spaces. The same way they played the game, like you just said, with the $5 Indian. I've said this numerous times. Just wait and see. You'll have the same one sitting up here talking about that their great grandma was was black and this and that or whatever, you know, like you said, their whole lives they've been checking off white. And if you were to tell them, say that they had any black in them, they would curse you out. But when money's involved, all of a sudden you're gonna see a bunch of them turn nigga overnight. So I'm definitely in agreement.
A lot of the bullied Negroes. And one more thing I wanted to mention, because I don't know if you guys heard that now they're trying to bring a complaint against Harvard for the legacy admissions. And honestly, I'm totally against that. And I'm really getting sick and tired of these Asian Americans, because they are white supremacists, and people think white supremacy is just white people, and it's not. I want Harvard to keep their legacy, because if Harvard overturns their legacy or is forced to overturn it, best believe we will no longer have HBCUs. So,
hey, real quick, Dana, on YouTube, Brooke says California's lineage because of the grassroots. So she's saying that it's actually lineage based. And of course, you mentioned that, but she's saying that it is lineage based on the I guess all the work that a bunch of the grassroots people have been doing out there. So that's what I thought. That's what I thought initially.
No,
but
I know it's lineage based. I'm saying that I want to read the report, because what is their method of determining that this black person is of lineage based? You have to have a method. You see what I'm saying? Because it'll be all black people saying, "Oh yeah, I am ADOS, so I'm free."
When they just go to the census, couldn't they just go to the census of 1870 or whatever?
But again, are they saying that? That's
1870 or prior.
Right, but that would be part of one of the that could be a method, but it needs to be in writing.
Well, we'll have to identify black Negro, African American for the last 10 years, or medical records and job applications and so forth. That's another criteria.
No, well, African Americans should not be a criteria, because black immigrants, they're African Americans, and that's what I'm saying. What would be the method? Because a lot of times you should not go by what you check off, because a black immigrant can and do check off African Americans. So it has to be.
That's one part of it. You still got to do your lineage as far as tracing your.
That's what I said. I want to know the methodology of to determine your lineage, and it cannot be solely on the census. But I have not read it. Nobody hasn't read it, so maybe it's in there. But that would be my number one concern and question to inquire.
So again, it has to be lineage based. You must identify as for the last 10 years, and obviously do your
the last 10. Why the last 10? Because
I don't like that 10 thing. You should be identifying your whole damn life, as far as I'm concerned.
You know everything.
Well, on applications, like a job application,
it doesn't matter. Lineage based.
So with that being said, hold on, Dana, just hold on a minute. Let me explain it to you first before we go off on the tangent.
No, you explain it to us, but don't explain like you know what you're talking about, because you were wrong.
All right, Dana, whatever. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you know what I mean? You must trace your history back to the 1870 census or prior to the 1900s when immigrants actually started coming here. Other thing is you must identify as a black Negro here in America. These folks that come here from other countries, they don't put that down on their paperwork that they're
Nobody
black.
puts Negro down.
They identify that they're white.
Nobody puts Negro down. Negro has been on all types of applications since the 1960s. So again, everybody needs to read the report.
Where do you see Negro at on the medical application or job application, right? Just as well as they took Negro on.
Well, hold on, Dana. Let DJ go ahead, and then you go ahead.
She can say what she wants. I'm good.
I mean, I kind of still somewhat had the mic, but what I'm saying is Negro has been off of any type of paperwork before all of us were born. So again, 10 years? Absolutely not. Yes, you are correct. We should look up, can you go back to 1870 and the early 1900s? But I'm saying, I'm not asking you to tell me the methodology, DJ, or anybody else, because you don't know. What I'm saying is, when we read it, I would like to know that it's in there. I told you,
and I do know the methodology because I've been following Chris Launch and stuff. I'm saying what somebody don't know. Woman, hush your mouth for once, you know what I mean?
First of all, I've been following the reparations perspective. She's from California, and I've been doing the task force meetings with her for a while. I also listen to Chris Lawson, who actually reads the report. So I don't know what you're talking about, Shorty. You know what I'm saying? But you could go ahead and say what you want.
Well, number one, I'm not your shorty. Number two, you don't even live in California. You're not part of their task force. Number three, you don't know.
I just said that I've been helping.
Yeah, let's not keep doing the muting though.
Hit the mute button. If you
No, because you're not listening.
Yeah, but wait. Hold on. I'm gonna mute it. I'm gonna mute it. Everybody chill out for a second, man. Because one time, every time somebody's speaking, everybody's cutting the other person off or whatever. So let's go ahead and try to keep order as much as possible. Let me go ahead and get to J Money. J Money, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Newstoter. Thank y'all for having me here. Appreciate y'all. But yeah, I mean, I live in Cali, so I see what's going on. But prayers to Cali, France, Newstoter, and prayers to everybody. But we're just gonna get right into it, though. I mean, I got Blood Puck. I see you. West Side. But yeah. So as far as the slavery and the term, the N-word, and all that, I mean, I feel like y'all, and if someone wants to unmute their mic and cook with me, the host, whoever. But look, at the end of the day, you guys know, even up until this day, up until 2023, since you want to name dates, all the way to the 1600s, all the way back then, some things get thrown out. Evidence gets thrown out. So you can't just rely on paperwork and census when there's evidence getting thrown out by these same people that supposedly we're supposed to trust. And I say that out of love because I say this out of love, all our people, because look, we've all had a descendant of slavery. Stop convincing yourself, oh, I'm from this tribe. Oh, I'm from this. No, my slavery was a Negro. No, nigga, all that evidence got thrown out. They killed all of our ancestors. It's just all the ones who were bold enough to put it on paper and it didn't get thrown out. That's the ones that we know about. Like how racism is being recorded and being filmed. Will Smith said it. No, bro, you can't rely on census and all this paperwork. All of our ancestors were in slavery, nigga. So y'all better stop talking about, oh, I'm from this tribe, or our ancestors, oh, I'm Negro. No, nigga, we were all slaves. It's just, it was thrown out. Everything was thrown out. So you can't say, oh, paperwork this. No, bro. If you're black, you had a slavery in your family, regardless of what your ancestors.
Wait, hold on, bro. So you're saying that every black person in this country was a product of American chattel slavery? Is what you're saying?
I'm saying one of their descendants were, yes, sir.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. No, that's not. You got African. You have African immigrants in this country right now who were not the descendants of American chattel slavery. That's not true.
Yeah, but their descendants were slavery in Africa.
That don't have a thing to do with America, man.
Please stop doing this.
That don't have a thing to do with America.
Look, but they were still enslaved. So.
That does, but they were not. They were not enslaved by the United States government.
Okay, but Newstoter, that's true.
Hey, Rivera, hold on for a second, because me and him having a conversation. They were not enslaved by the American. They were not enslaved by the United States of America. That's not true at all.
But Newstoter, let me ask you this: Africans, they have harder slavery than Americans. So technically,
how do you know Africans had harder slavery than Americans? Did Africans have their whole family split in half from them?
Yes, sir, they did. And look at how they live, even in 2023. Look at how they live out there. Look at the tribes. They're still in slavery. They don't have a luxury like us. They're still slaves, bro.
What are you talking about? Africans are on their native ancestral homeland. They know their family lineage and everything else.
Okay, but if you go to those African spaces, bro, they'll tell you how it really is out there.
Okay, but I'm saying, bro, that still doesn't have anything to do with American chattel slavery. I'm just being honest.
What I'm saying is every black person has a descendant.
So you're saying that every black person, we're not talking about every descendant, because then you can say everybody in the world got a descendant that was enslaved at one time. That every person on this earth, black or white, has a descendant that was a slave in slavery. So that we're not playing that game there. We're saying who were the people that were here in America, that family were slaves on this land, that built this country up, that suffered through the horrors of slavery. That's what we're talking about.
Well, if you technically want to get technical, then it's the blacks and the Indians. Then Indians
We're not talking about Indians either, because Indians have gotten benefits and stuff from the American government as well too, and Indians owned black slaves as well too. And Indians had a chance to go ahead and get those slaves land and everything else, and they went ahead and did not do it. Indians was one of the last groups to actually free black slaves, and the only reason they did it is because the government made them do it. So no, we're not playing the game with Indians, because every time it comes to giving black people something, we got to include Indians in it. Now, whenever they give Indians something, they never give black people anything, ever.
I know I got my hands up, but I got to say something. This is exactly what we are talking about. Somebody coming in, these Africans, their claim has to deal with the British government and the French government. They ain't got nothing to do with the United States. Don't come over here trying to put these people in our claim. Has nothing to do with us. And when you start talking about Indians, we are the Indians too. They're part of who we are too. And I'm not talking about those red Indians that you're talking about. We're the indigenous people too. So kill that crap you're talking about.
Okay, but sir, let me ask you this then. I respect that, and you kept it 100. But look, what about that Nigerian girl that got shot in Florida by that white person? She was from Nigeria, but they were looked at her as black, right?
Well, first off, from our understanding, she is black. From what we understand. From what we understand, she is black. Secondly, the claim that everybody's talking about is about slavery. It's not about racism. It's not about being treated bad. It's about slavery, the original sin of this country. The thing that the reason that you have such a wide disparity of black and white wealth gap is because of slavery, and everything from Jim Crow to segregation to the civil rights movement. All of that stems from slavery. So that's what we're talking about first and foremost. So before we can handle anything else, we got to go ahead and handle this issue that went on with slavery. So, I mean, I'm not really, like I say, no ill will to any group in this country that have had their backs against it and have gone against it and, been mistreated or whatever. But we're simply talking about slavery. And like I say, and the whole thing with the civil rights movement, whenever something is entitled for black Americans, specifically set aside from them, then we got to go ahead and play the whole game. Like, well, we got to include everybody. And that happened in the civil rights movement as well, too. So we started including white women and people of color and minorities and handicapped and everybody else that we could find. We started throwing them in there to go ahead and water it down to make sure that black people could not rise the way they were supposed to rise in this country. It was all done intentionally. And now we're sitting up here talking about the same thing, talking about, well, every black person was not a descendant of chattel slavery in this country. So I don't know what we're talking about here. No, every single solitary black person, and sitting up here saying, well, who we play this game to, and they do this with the Caribbean. Oh, well, they had it harder than y'all, and they went through a worse type of slavery. Horse shit. How you gonna go through a worse type of slavery when you got your damn people taking babies out of women's arms and separating them, and they never see them for the rest of their lives? Well, in some of these other in the Caribbean and some of these other places, at least their family structure stayed together. That helped them go ahead and start leading against some of these, having these uprisings and stuff like that. No, you didn't even get that. You didn't even get that here in America. So we need to go ahead and stop playing with that, talking about, well, they had it rough and this and that or whatever. Africa was colonized. We're not saying that. Africa was colonized after the slave trade. Let's keep that in mind as well, too. After the slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade, is when Africa got colonized, So let's also keep that in mind as well, too. The Africans, if they want to get money from Europe, from the Euro powers, France and Great Britain and the Dutch and all of the rest of them, I stand behind them, I support them or whatever, but they should not jump in the line, or they should not be included in what the actual claim that black Americans have here. The same way black Americans are not trying to jump in the CARICOM claim with the Caribbean brothers. That's their issue. That's their fight. We stand and we support them, but we're not sitting up here and saying, well, we were all in North America and we all were slaves. So technically we're all owed the same thing that you guys are owed. It does not work like that. And we got to go ahead and we got to stop this kind of stuff right here. This is dangerous. This is destructive right here. No, absolutely not. Go ahead, Dana. I see you got your hand up. Rivera, if y'all want to speak, go ahead, because I know a couple of y'all put your hands up and we'll go ahead and get to you. Like I said, the space ain't gonna be as long because I left my damn charger today as well, too. Let me give a shout out to my girl Tony. She's not in here, but she did make a contribution on Cash App. So shout out to my girl Tony. Dana, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, that guy, J. Mike, he was a troll, honey, because it's one thing for with me and CJ going back and forth on what the methodology going to be, because we both know it's supposed to be specific. He come up in here talking about the Africans and the tribes. We don't got. It's not. I got. This don't have nothing to do with no damn tribes. And I think he was a troll because some people try to sound like they know what they're talking about, but it's just nonsense. I don't even waste my. That's one thing. Like when it comes to reparations, I would not argue with someone when they're trying to lump everybody else. Black immigrants or South Americans or people from the Caribbean. I just don't go back and forth with them because apparently. They're not taking it seriously, or they're just doing some BS. They're just trolls. Because the reason why I said that, where is the report for everyone to read? Is it on a website? I'll go to the website and I'll see, because it should be made public. And I definitely want to know how you want to determine that. I could literally, on my father's mother's side, trace back lineage to a plantation in Georgia, because my great whatever he would have been grandfather, but I don't know which number grandfather walked off the plantation when slavery ended, and he changed his last name. So not only do I want reparations federally, I want it from the state of Georgia, and I want it from that goddamn plantation that he walked his ass off of. So so was he part of the freedmen? Maybe not. Was he part of the 1870 census? I don't know. It's a possibility he was not. But can I trace back to that plantation that he was a slave, which is my lineage? Yes, there are other methods and other proof for you to do that, not just the census. And damn sure not in the last 10 years. Absolutely not. This shit is going to have to start probably from 1950 and earlier. Because you're not going to sit up here and give permission for any immigrant, Indian, Black, it don't matter, whatever country or Caribbean, you're not going to give nobody else consideration to get anything when it has to do with, our reparations. So how are you going to determine lineage? Yeah, I'm curious to see if that's in the California report, and we all need to read it. So I'm going to mute up.
All right. Yeah, like I said, the report, I haven't actually seen it. I know they have it, so I'm sure somebody's actually seen it. If they haven't seen it, they're going to get a chance to see it as well, too. If anybody's seen the report, too, come up here and let us know. Just let us know some of the things. I know it's a long report, so you can't possibly tell us everything that's involved in the report, but if you've seen it or whatever, please come on up here and let us know. Like I said, we're not going to keep this space open that long tonight, guys. Oh, Lord, is this Mimi up here? All right. Okay, since nobody else wants to speak, I'll play along for a second, Mimi. I'll play along.
It's about to get good.
So, Mimi.
Before Mimi talk, let me say this, Newstoter. I just pulled it up, and I'm going to see if I could put it in your jumbotron.
Okay. Hello, Mimi.
Hello.
Hey, before Mimi talk, Mimi said some on-code shit in a conspiracy theory.
Do your research.
I'm surprised.
Just do your research.
Go ahead, Mimi. What do you want to say? How you doing today?
Hey, smooth scans. Anyways, where's Ice Cube? If y'all notice, first of all, God damn, I don't even know how to take the conversation because I don't want nobody to get offended. But I will assume I'm talking to a lot of LA folks. Is that fair?
No, we have a mixed crowd up in here, but go ahead, Mimi, get to your point, love.
Your majority is LA. That's your base. Is that fair?
No, I think we have a bunch of different people from a bunch of different states up in here and cities.
No, stop being shy of your states. Let me do it. Oh, Florida.
Yes, I'm in Florida, love. Get to your point, though.
Did you move to California?
No, I'm still in Florida.
Okay. Are you gonna move?
No. Is this a point here, Mimi? Are we?
No. What I'm just saying is, and it makes me like tear up a little bit. But yes, Black people,
we did build America. By the way, no matter where you come from, I don't care if you're from Georgia, whatever, Mississippi. But you know what? It's okay. But if you know that, you could be okay. Is that fair?
Mimi, are we bleeding up on you? Are you getting a little information?
Okay, Mimi.
Well, I'm disappointed because it took Uncle Ben off the box.
Okay, Mimi. Thank you. Thank you, me.
You're doing good.
Bye. Okay, Mimi. We tried. We tried. You can't say we didn't try, Mimi. Okay, we tried. We somehow started talking about Uncle Ben and all just crazy stuff. Just okay, Mimi. Right. Yeah, you can't say that some of our people, you can help every black person because you surely cannot. But thank you, Mimi. Thank you once again. It was entertaining to say the least for the short time that it lasted. Never can really get you to get to a point, but that's cool. That's fine as well, too. Dana says she's looking at the actual, trying to see exactly what the actual report details or whatever. Got some of our people up in the space, man. Y'all don't be afraid to come up here and speak tonight. Like I say, just share us your thoughts on what you think about the actual the Cali reparations and how you think this thing should play out in terms of just not talking about California, but for black people in general, all throughout the country. It has to be you got to have the federal behind the actual reparations movement. Because a lot of these states, especially if we're talking about the Deep South, a lot of these states just can't go ahead and support no reparations. So we got to have the actual, we got to have the federal government that's going to be doling out this bread here. We're going to be honest about it. So we got my girl Brooke up here. Brooke, what's going on?
Oh, hi. I wasn't expecting it to be right up like that.
Oh, okay. You want me to come back to you, Brooke?
No. I'm ready. I'm here. I just, I was listening on YouTube, and so, and hi everybody first. Hi. So I was listening on YouTube, heard the questions about the California Reparations Task Force, and it's great that Dana is looking up the most recent one. I was gonna try to just simply say that I think the information that you're looking for about the eligibility should probably be in the first report. I could have swore that the California Reparations Task Force, so I'm just saying if you don't see it, go back and check the first one, because I definitely remember it was in that one. Going on to talking about the affirmative action and everything that's happening in what's her face? Who's the head of the California California Task Force? What's her name?
You know, I talk about Camilla Moore, are you?
Yes. She gave a statement the other day about the affirmative action and saying that it seems like a slam dunk as far as the lineage base that they're doing there, and then basically the lineage base that they're doing there. So in a way, it's almost like the East and the West are kind of coming together. And so I am also, excited to hear what's going to be in the second one, because I missed the last couple of meetings for the Reparation Task Force. And as far as France being on fire, that sounds great. I think, just we burn it all. Burn it all. Let's burn it. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's do some of that here. And so I don't want us to get shut down, so I'm going to rest my plane on that one.
All right. Thank you, Brooke. As always, you can catch her on YouTube. She pretty much hangs out there, but Brooke will come up into the space as well and speak. So shout out to Miss Brooke as always. Like I say, y'all, let's I know some of y'all in here now. I know y'all have some opinions on reparations now on this California task force. And just the report and everything else, France or whatever. If you think France is getting that just deserves or whatever, that's fine. Anybody come on up here and speak, because like I said, we ain't gonna keep the space open too much longer. I got family stuff I'm gonna be doing tonight anyways, and I left my charger too for the phone, so we ain't gonna be keeping the space going too long. So let me go ahead. I see my man Original down there as well too. I can't believe Original, Trouble, I see my girl Re-Rob, and I can't believe none of them got nothing to say. That's it's hard to believe, y'all, but I feel y'all. Y'all might just be chilling tonight, so it is what it is. I see you up in here as well too. Let me go ahead and get back to Dana. Dana, go ahead.
So I put the link to the report. Honey, this is 1,079 pages. um, it's very detailed, and it does have a section that says eligibility, and I was trying to get straight to it, but I don't know. And then I'm curious about the section that says international. So uh, this is the table of contents. So yeah, so we have international legal framework for reparations. So I don't know if I got it, and that's at the 513 page. And I'm pretty sure, I'm assuming that you want to try to pull reparations internationally. And then as says 606 page eligibility, so it's final recommendations, introduction, eligibility. So yeah, so it was 1,079 pages, and I put it up in the jumbotron. So it's very detailed, interesting. And let me just say this, because I know you're short on time. It's fine for us to have a conversation about reparations and bring our own opinions and what we think about it. But honestly, we do need to, myself included, need to read and study details and actual policies that people are putting forward, such as, for one, this task force, California Task Force Reparations, because we have to know what we're talking about. I need to be more specific and thorough when I'm talking about reparations, not just in this space, but going on other people's platforms and for our own personal knowledge. We have to know what we're talking about, because we have to know what to say or what to object to locally when they set up these local reparation task force commissions. And just real quick, already a Texas representative introduces a bill to bar federal bailouts of states that implement reparations. So you already have, and I'm pretty sure this is a Republican, Texas Representative Brian Baffin, a Republican. He introduced a bill last week to prevent federal bailouts of cities and states that implement reparations. So they already have a comeback to try to discourage states and cities to implement reparations. So we all need to educate ourselves more on Congress, who's in Congress, who's running for Congress in our local areas, and this whole reparations fight. And I'll put that article up in the Jumbotron as well. That's it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we got Trouble and I Am. And I think Trouble was first. I may be mistaken, but I believe Trouble and then I Am. Trouble, what's going on? How you doing today?
Hey, Newstoter, just chilling in the cut. Shout out to everybody in the room. I'm glad you're holding this space early.
Yeah, because I got a bunch of family, and they trying to. You got the kids talk about fireworks, even though the day ain't the 4th, they got kids with fireworks and everybody. So yeah, everybody trying to get it in. They're gonna be getting it in for the next couple of days. So I'm like, let me go ahead. I will be back regular time tomorrow night, though, guys, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're gonna have a nice Twitter space. I'm gonna tweet that out tomorrow. The actual, I already made it, but we got a nice Twitter space planned for tomorrow. So y'all make sure y'all come through. But what's up, Trouble? How you doing?
Shoot, chilling. Yeah, I'm glad you holding the space early today. I start my first day of classes back up again today, so I always feel.
Okay, shout out to you.
Yeah, I'm going for my master's. I wasn't, but my husband talked me into it, so I went ahead and signed back up to start. I was trying to wait for a couple of terms to go through, and he was like, "Nope, if you don't do it now, you're not gonna want to do it." So I am starting back up today, so I feel kind of guilty sometimes in the evening when I should be doing work and I be on these spaces. So yeah, today's a good day to have an early space. But anyhow, the reparations task force, Brooke was right. They did pretty much state what the criteria was back in the beginning, and that was pretty much as DJ was saying. Is that you have to have been identified as a freedman or a Negro or free Black people or ancestors of enslaved in the United States before the 1900s, plus the, you know, several other things that was on there. And I'm just glad it's at the end. Now they have like 115 recommendations for it. Now they're just waiting to see what the legislative courts are going to do. But the one thing that's good about these statewide is that I'm hoping that if we can get enough reparation panels going from state to state, that eventually that'll spark something on the national level, because really in my mind, that's what's necessary is something to spark up on the state level. I mean, on the national level, to force these, I don't know if you want to say Democrats, but force their hand, so to speak, if every state is starting their own reparations panel. But until there's more information, I don't really have a whole lot on it. But I love the fact, I just really wanted to come and say that I love the fact that Francis Barton, I agree with Brooke again, you know, burn it all down. And I'm hoping it sparks from one nation to the next. I love to see Black people fighting back. And, you know, I'm a firm believer that it only takes one person to spark a movement. And if everybody in every land that they own start realizing that the injustices are coming from a particular group of people on a global level, everywhere you look, it's this particular group of people that's causing problems. And it's not the brown folks, it's them clear ones, you know, then everybody will start, you know, taking up arms or doing whatever it is that you have to do to make your lives better, rather than picking up and leaving and going to the next place. Right where you're at, you know, and everybody's sitting back watching it. You know, they watched us go do our things over here. Now they're doing the damn thing over there. Maybe in another nation somewhere else, somebody else will realize there's some injustices going on, and they'll go ahead and set it off real proper. Like I'm all for some proper setting it off. So, yeah, I love the fact that they're on fire right about now. And so I just came up there to say that because the roof is on fire. Did you see the videos where they had all of them animals running all over the place? That was the most hilarious shit to me.
Talking in France?
Yeah, they had gorillas all in the street. They had elephants roaming, the zebras all up in traffic. I've been dying all day long looking at them little videos like, no, they didn't go and let the animals out the zoo. Like,
I did not see that. That had to be a scary sight to see a damn gorilla and elephant running down the street.
What? And then I see some lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. It was hilarious to me. I'm like, I don't know what they're doing over there, but this is like, is this real? I had to ask a couple times, like, is this real? Is this for real? Because it was just too comical. You don't see that every day, but you know, France is the proper place for it right now. I just believe it's poetic. It's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. One love. I see you down in the cut, Rella. What's up? Come up to the stage, babe. But much love, everybody. I holla.
All right. Thank you, Miss Trouble, as always, and congratulations in your pursuit of trying to further your education as well too. So I know we may miss times where you may not be able to get up in the actual space, but you know we always record it, and you can always catch it on YouTube as well too. So definitely, you can't catch it live or whatever, we definitely understand. I definitely appreciate you always supporting as well too. And also, speaking of support, guys, we have the YouTube channel up in the Jumbotron. I'm not exactly sure where it's at up in the Jumbotron because it's the fourth on the right-hand side, the fourth on the right. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, everybody. Please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to get that growing. That is the fourth on the right-hand side, the fourth on the right-hand side. If you have already subscribed, go ahead and retweet that link out. Retweet the link out as well too. Also, for those that can't support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American-owned news media curation platform today in America. Once again, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. And I think in a second, I'm going to go ahead and put that space up for tomorrow as well in the Jumbotron as well too. So you guys can actually see the title of that because that's going to be a good one tomorrow night as well too. So for those that don't have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron as well too. Let me go ahead and get to I am. Go ahead and unmute your mic. How you doing tonight?
Peace, power, and reparations, family. How y'all doing?
We're doing good.
I'm feeling good. I just had a sister lay hands on my body. So I'm feeling real good, real energized. Got a nice massage today, so it was well needed. My back been killing me, and she took care of me. So I'm about to put a whole bunch of money in her pocket in the next month. But yeah, they calling it that thing over there in France with the animal. They calling it the UK Zoo. I done seen the videos of the lions and the tigers. It's really weird, but I am not sympathetic because France needs to they need to get what they getting and more. That's all. I'm gonna leave it like that. How about that? As far as the reparations task force, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say or how to feel about it. Listening in the spaces and watching the tweets and what people are saying is just, it brings about a lot of conflicting thoughts. So I'm not really going to, leave an opinion on either which way side. I just hope that this would trigger us to get out in these streets and start, telling people about it, telling our people about it, and spreading the word, and to continue fighting. And I'm hoping that with the guidance from the Most High and our ancestors that we can maintain this lineage based thing, because J Money was definitely a troll. He just dropped his music into the jumbotron, and we're constantly going to have to deal with that, and that's okay. I just say we shouldn't just entertain them so much. We got more important business to handle. But yeah, I know we just got to get out here in the streets and get off these social media platforms and have these conversations with our people. Like doing town halls. I'm trying to put together a town hall here, but I'm not that well versed in the topic, so I was looking for somebody who would be able to, do them here in the North Carolina area and just hold some town halls with our people, educating them and informing them about what's going on and what we're looking for and how we need their support, even if it's a signature, or, spreading the word or sharing a post, whatever. We need their support across the board. The more of us that are supporting this and pushing this, the more likely we are to win. So, shout out to everybody who's out here and who's putting in the work. And, if nobody told you today, you are appreciated. That much I do promise you. And, that's just pretty much where I'm at. And I'm feeling really good today, Newstoter. This better than some weed right now, bro. Good as hell. I've been struggling for the past 3 weeks, man. I've been bitch like a bitch, but I'm feeling good. I've been talking to white folks and actually saying hi, and because they cleared to me, so I didn't even be seeing them. I've been actually kind of seeing them today, speaking. So it's been a weird day, so I'm feeling good, and I'm just thankful. I'm gonna land there, brother. I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Let me give a shout out to my sister Rera, as always, for her support and contribution on Cash App. So thank you, Miss Rera. Let me go ahead and get to Original. What's going on tonight, Original? How you doing?
I'm sorry, Newstoter. I forgot to say one thing. That representative in Texas, he is a descendant of slaveholders. So he's expected to act the way he's acting. Because he don't want to cut no check in his generational wealth. Exactly. So all day is fuck him, though. But I love y'all.
All right. Thank you, my sister. Let me go to Mr. Original. Original, how you doing tonight?
Hey, peace, black power, and lineage-based reparations. Yeah, I downloaded the report, but I haven't had a chance to start reading it yet. I've been doing quite a number of other things around here, trying to make things work around here and stuff. But yes, like I am said, we need to start our ground game, with this process and getting out and actually having a conversation with the people on the ground, because quite a number of people are not aware of what is going on as far as reparation, and some of them they still have this docile perspective about themselves. Well, I don't know. I'm like, and of course, I said, because what's rolling off your tongue is what can possibly prevent us from obtaining reparation. And so I think we have to go out and do that ground game and make sure that these operative groups, we all know who they are, because they're not financing themselves. So they're being financed by the enemy, but they want to tell us how we should obtain our reparation. If that's not the silliest thing that I've seen, I really don't know what is. So I think once we get past that, things will be a little bit better. But I'm pretty much happy with what the task force as well as our people in California have presented to us. Because if it wasn't for the grassroots in California, we wouldn't have this would not be an issue. It really wouldn't. And I really have to send thanks out to them, because most people don't understand. It is the grassroots that bring forth change. These people who call themselves elected officials and things of that nature, they're done. They're not going to do anything for us unless they, use ambiguous language to try to wedge in all these other people who do not belong. And so just like I think I mentioned before, Maxine Waters, when the cocaine thing hit in LA, Maxine Waters came out as if she was going to assist us, and then she ended up dumping us, stating that she had to go save Bill Clinton. Well, he is not our problem. We have a bigger issue here that's way bigger than anything that Bill Clinton can be involved in. But that's how these people operate. And then we see how they are treated. Y'all remember when Jim Crow Joe called Cedric Richardson a boy. On camera, he said, well, this boy, right? I said, if y'all don't see how these people operate, but see, they did not expect the groundswell of the grassroots being as strong as it is. And so when we begin to, make that push and make our voices heard, that's when things begin to change. So I just want to say I'm going to try to start reading that report as soon as possible, so I can, have a bit more clarity as to what it said within the report. Now, as far as France, I'm happy. See, I've been looking initially when this thing came down with France. I was looking because they was giving you the perspective that it was an African immigrant or a black guy that was shot. But I kept looking. The first picture I saw, they showed the guy's face, but it was like from a distance. But he seems to be, he seems to be Arab. I think he come from, I think it's either Morocco or somewhere. Although there are some black people that live in Morocco as well. But I understand that, I think from what I can see, because see, a lot of these Arabs, and they some sick bastards too. They are moving into other people's country. But what they want to do is they want you to take on their sick, backwards, and degenerate belief. And no offense to anybody who follow Islam, I don't follow no religion, so I don't mean to be disrespectful. But when I look at what that religion has done to us as a people, there's no way in hell you can take me to be a part of that religion. And so, but that's what they do. And my concern is that if this guy is, he looks to be Arab, and if that is true, it seems as if they're trying to put it all on the black immigrant. Well, like what Trouble said, when I saw the arrows running through the street, I thought about that movie Jumanji. Y'all know all the animals running through the street. That's what I thought about the movie Jumanji. But France, they are getting exactly what they deserve. When France was in Africa, when those African states decided to break away from France, they came in, anything that they thought that they obtained because of France being in their country, they blew it up, burnt it down. I mean, they decimated those countries. No, I mean, and without those countries, they don't have anything. France do not have natural resources the way those countries that I think they still have some sort of control over that, because there was back a few years ago, there was something going on with them in the Ivory Coast. And, but yeah, they're getting exactly what they deserve because of the hell that they have put black folks through around this world. So I have no sympathy for France. I don't care if somebody from France is listening to them. How can you be just like they have been for all the hell that they've been giving black folks around the world? I'm happy that they are getting that same thing at this point. And I mean, hell, I think they've already one or two buildings have been demolished because of the fires and everything. So. And they say, "Let it burn." What that old saying come back from back in the day? Burn, baby, burn. So I am not apologetic for that because of who these people are and what they continue to do to black folks around the world. And so, and I guess I will land with that. Good evening, Rella. How you doing?
All right. Thank you, Original.
Hi, Original. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I just haven't been too long. Woke up, so I'm feeling good. About to get out here and ride in my yard again with my lawnmower. You have a good one.
You too. Hopefully you won't have to too much longer, because there was a guy who had introduced or created a remote control lawnmower, I see, and he's a black man.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
All righty. Real quick, guys, up in the Jumbotron, I put the actual the space for tomorrow night. That's the second on the left-hand side. Is titled Umar Johnson and Boyce Watkins on the 4th of July in Freedom. Of course, if you haven't heard, Umar had the article that we tweeted out. Umar's talking about the 4th of July and Juneteenth, and basically saying that black folks don't need to celebrate both of them, that you need to really celebrate Juneteenth. And we also going to be talking about Dr. Boyce Watkins, who made quite a ruckus the other day on Twitter when he was talking about basically if you don't know your name, then you're still not free as well too. So that's going to be the topic for tomorrow night. Guys, get up in the Jumbotron and tweet that space out for tomorrow night. Go ahead and tweet that space out. We anticipate having a pretty nice Twitter space on that as well too. So definitely go ahead and tweet that space out. Also on the left-hand side, the last on the left-hand side is the actual subscribe to Newstoter Twitter membership for just $3 a month. All you got to do is go to the actual profile page. For those that want to support black content, go and you can support us by just subscribing. For $3 a month is a Twitter membership subscription. So just please, for those that can afford it, we definitely appreciate it. If you can't, we also understand that as well too. But for those that can, we got 5 subscribers right now. Definitely trying to build it up in the month of July. Those 5 subscribers all subscribed in the month of June. So let's see if we can get 5 or 10 subscribers this month for just $3 a month. If you look at some of these major news outlets, they have memberships for $4 on up, $5, $10 on this and that. We're just doing it for $3. So for those that can support us here on Twitter, it is greatly appreciated. It's just $3 a month. Let me go ahead and get to you, Rella. Rella, go ahead and unmute your mic. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you guys tonight?
We're doing good.
Look, when I'm summoned by my sister, I guess I gotta adhere to the call. I'm so proud of her. It takes a lot, for continuing adults to, go through and completing their degree and having a whole family. Trust me, I know. We are on the same track. I also want to say that, I'm very proud of everyone. Whether you are in a position of not knowing or knowing, or just still in the space of fighting for our reparative justice, I would tell you to keep on fighting, keep doing the due diligence to look deeper into and past all of the noise. I'm very proud of what California has done. That is my home state. It's where my mother is laid to rest. My family is there. Not the extended family, but I should say my immediate family is there, and it is very monumental for the work that they've done, the challenges that they faced in the 2.5 years that they've been at this. Maureen Simmons doesn't get enough praise in being the very first person to present the idea and fight for reparations to Dr. Shirley Weber. And, most people probably don't know her name enough. And I think because we don't spend enough time actually talking about who these people are, what they meant, whether you like them or not, in regards to all the players that, had a piece in the role of what we now see as a finished product. Yes, there were a lot of naysayers. There were a lot of doubters. Sometimes people, even who championed reparations, doubted that this document would be completed. I know the end result is for everyone to get that check cut, but we want to make sure that overall there are reparative things in place, because there are a lot of laws, there are a lot of bills that have been introduced to the assemblies in all states that contradict one another, and they can sometimes impact the way law is applied to the particular group that we're speaking of, which is the descendant. And lineage does matter. Whether you recognize all the classes, African American, Black, Negro, freedmen, and now the new and used terms of today, ADOS and FBA, you're all still talking about the same people. And you're talking about the people who have, a historical lineage to this land that we call the United States. So I'm very proud of the team, Camila, and Dr. Shirley Weber. I mean, if you watched the last hearing, I cried because it was very moving. When you listen to Dr. Shirley Weber, you couldn't even fathom that a woman of her stature would have enough energy to gather people up together, to keep things behind the scenes going, and just to stand up to say, she's an American, and be proud of it. And be proud of it. We've never had that energy. And sometimes I always feel like it's a catch-22, even when it comes to symbols of our legends and people of today who are doing great things, that we're being taught to not even recognize the good things that we are doing, because everybody is so pulled in different ways, and the fodder of the fractures are sometimes louder than what really happens on the ground. So with that being said, I downloaded the 1,200-page report. I hope to actually get a few books, one to give to my father and one to have here in my home. So I hope everyone else does the same thing and starts to read it and get involved. I'm here in Virginia, which is one of my ancestors' birthplace, so it's ironic. And there's work going on here. I'm keeping some things under wrap, but hopefully to have some answers for people soon enough. The task force final report. Okay, France on fire. I'm with Trouble. Them videos have been, I shouldn't say they're hilarious, because really the humanity in me and the moral in me is like, that's a damn shame. But France has a lot of karma coming to its country, and it's ironic that it's going to implode from the inside. So when you see a young boy's life being taken, regardless of how people feel about who he was or whatever anyone has ever read about the young boy, when you see somebody take a 17-year-old's life by their own hands and lie about it, if I was the mother, the whole world would cease to exist. So I implore the mom and her strength for what is happening right now with France, but the fact that she can't get her son back, even with all the things that are happening. But it's amazing to see how the entire country, or I should say that particular area, is on fire for what happened to that 17-year-old. And it probably was a powder keg anyway, ready to go. So with that being said, animals running through the streets, these people it is going down. They are letting the animals out. They are tearing up the cars, the streets. I mean, they are using fireworks to go at it with the police. I do agree with Black. We shouldn't have to resort to barbarism. But I think in that particular case, I don't have any tears because I know the history of France, and I know what France has done when it came to colonization around the world, and its position here in the United States, and the harm that it caused, even to the descendants. So I land there, and it's so good to talk to everybody, and it's so good that you're on Newstoter.
Thank you, Miss Rella. And make sure you go up in the Jumbotron, all the speakers. Make sure y'all retweet that space out for tomorrow night. Like I said, it's the second on the left-hand side. So all the speakers that's up here and the listeners as well, to go ahead and retweet the space out. We got a couple people to retweet it out. We got more than... You can't what? You said what, Duncan?
He said he couldn't hear you, but I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Duncan.
I can hear, but it's just like after she got me speaking, it was mute. It did it before. I thought it was just nice.
Okay.
Can you hear Newstoter, Duncan?
Not to be saying nothing right now, I can't.
Wait, Duncan, can you hear me now? If not, you may need to go ahead and disconnect and come back up. Yeah, you may have to go ahead and disconnect if you're having connection issues and come back up that way. But yeah, everybody that's up here, go ahead and please retweet out the space for tomorrow night. Like I said, this should be a pretty this 4th of July is going to be a 4th of July space as well too. So y'all make sure. I'm sure a lot of y'all gonna have tomorrow off, so definitely go ahead and get your drink on, get your barbecue plate or whatever y'all gonna get. Come on through and kick it with us for those that have the time as well too. So definitely go ahead and tweet that space out. Like I say, it's the second on the left-hand side. Dana, go ahead. You got it.
Thank you, Newstoter, for always holding your spaces. Very entertaining. And thank you for accepting me for who I am, because I'm not about to change. I could be very ghetto, and these are my last remarks. Because I said what I had to say about the topics. Y'all people on YouTube, please don't try to come for me, honey, because YouTube, we are the projects. We are ghetto in the YouTube. If you try to come for me in those comments in that chat section, you know I'm going to clap back at you bitches. Yes, mammy. So I'm just like, listen, if you disagree with what I said, that's fine. But don't ever try to sit up here and criticize my intelligence, okay, bitches? AKA mammies? Because you already know I'm ghetto too. I'm more ghetto. Ghetto is hell. That's it.
All righty. Okay. I saw a little bit of stuff going back on the YouTube or whatever, but okay.
Because you know I'm always going at it in your chat. But and I think because I'm a content creator, I know how these YouTube streets are. We are the projects. But I'm at my cousin's house. I'm at his projects, at my cousin's projects, and I don't like bitches over here. Okay?
Alrighty, y'all. We try to definitely keep it interesting and informative. I must say that as well up in the spaces as well too. So,
why is that you gonna have these studs up in here in this room?
I don't know.
Well, the studs in the chat, the studs don't like the pretty girls, and I'm pretty, and the studs in his projects where he lived at, you know what I'm saying, they don't like pretty girls. So you better get them, Dana. Go ahead, reload. Go ahead.
We gotta send a shout out to BB and Dana who come through with the commercial break.
I know Nikki the God. She was up here.
If Dana come up in here with Thug Life on her avatar, I'm dying.
Yeah, they've been getting it in and stuff like that. So I know Nikki was up in here too. Nikki says she'll be right back.
I'm just trying to get in while I fit in, but I can't hear the whole.
Hey, bro, you got. Hey, Duncan. Hey, Duncan. Hold on for a second, Duncan. I just pressed mute. What you need to do, bro, is go ahead and disconnect and then come back up here. Because if you can't hear and you over talking, that means that you having some connection issues on your part. So what you need to do is disconnect. Go ahead and remove yourself as a speaker, and then come back up here and request to speak. Because yeah, you having issues, and it's with your phone, bro. So that's what it is. But go ahead, Trouble. One of y'all was speaking. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was telling him that I didn't think that he could hear you. So I was telling him that if you can't hear Toter, then you need to drop down. He done told you a couple of times, drop down, bro, drop down. But maybe he's not versed in the space, so he don't know when you can't hear, then that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay, I saw he okay, can you hear now, Duncan?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Did you want to go ahead and add something in?
Yeah, well, for one, I like to say condolences to the child, and the child family that was murdered by the police out there in Frank. It's sad whenever somebody don't even get to see adulthood and they're murdered by the state. That's very tragic, even though they are not a descendant of slaves in the United States. Just, me being a human being, my sympathy goes out to that family. Now, bringing it back to where we at, I'm proud of the people in California doing their reparations movement. I've been watching them, Chris and other people of their help. I've been watching them do the work, and I'm very proud of them. That's the work of giants that they're doing. Even though I'm proud, and I hope they continue, right? I've always voiced my critique in regards to them doing a state-based reparations claim prior to the federal claim. I think that's like putting the cart before the horse. And it also brings me back to how states' rights have been weaponized against Black Americans, even of the rhetoric of state rights when the civil rights movement was going on in the 60s and in the 50s. I can't be numb to that. I can't block that from my historical memory. That was a weapon used against Black Americans and civil rights during the state rights, right? Now, another thing is about the reality of it, right? We're looking at a time where Jackson, Mississippi, the capital of Mississippi, cannot afford to have proper water infrastructure. So, seeing them having the finances to do a reparations claim in the state of Mississippi when Jackson does not have a proper water infrastructure, I don't think that's logical. And I also look at how the legalization of marijuana went. Being that I live in the South, right? I just shared a photo the other day, a guy who was arrested for a small amount of marijuana. This black guy charged $5,000 for a small amount. We're talking about like a little minuscule amount of marijuana, right? Just to smoke. He would charge $5,000 when his white girl would charge $100 to pay her bond. So, and I don't see a big legalization movement going on in California right now. And I'm assuming, I could be wrong, I prefer to say that, but I'm assuming the reason you don't have that legalization pushed in California right now because they have it for recreational
recreational and medicinal use in the state of California. So the need for that fight or for that push no longer exists in California like it does in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, etc. Right? But that's all I would say. I can see them doing reparations state by state, kind of looking like how the legalization of marijuana fight is looking right now. Where these blue states, where you can get easy wins, and I don't want to say that as a style remark to what they're doing in California, because I'm pretty sure it is hard, but in comparison to Mississippi, Alabama, even Louisiana for that matter, I don't think those victories would be that easy in those red states and those poor states, right? So I kind of see the state by state reparations claim as the same way as the legalization of marijuana. It's just gonna be, it's gonna be with people in these blue states where they don't have large numbers of Black Americans, or Black Americans don't make up a larger demographic of that state, like how minuscule Black Americans are in California compared to Alabama. You know, I see those states getting those wins, but when Black people are in large demographics, we won't see those wins, and we will be left holding the hot potato, basically. That's my opinion.
All right. Thank you, Duncan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Rella. Rella, go ahead and unmute your mic.
So this is how I want to center this. Duncan is not entirely correct, but he's not entirely wrong. The amount of fortitude that it takes to construct the commissions and research the harms that were done in the state is not an easy task. He's correct. But the United States participated in what was called chattel slavery. And the documentation of reparations or slavery in itself to provide the federal government a blueprint on those harms, which we all say they know so well. It's not enough that they know. It's the fact that it needs to be documented on paper. The documentation that says we have calculated the harms by doing the work that is required to present to the federal government. What I think people are failing at is they somehow, as he stated, is the cart before the horse, is that we have not done the work. Black people have not shown up entirely the correct way. All of us are trying to do 25,000 different things, but those different things have not yielded the results that we're searching for and that we claim that we want. I hear people say, cut the check. Well, you want the check cut and you're trying to tell the government, I demand this amount of money. You need to say, this is why I demand this amount of money. And here's your bill. The bill you ran up. California, Mississippi, of course, Texas, all of the Confederate states also, that has to be also sussed out. And the people in those states that are still within those borders are to be held accountable. It is not enough any longer for us to groan and moan about what your senator and your representative is no longer doing. This is the reason why I do believe in the Black majority state, in the sense of authority comes when you are in positions of authority. Had Dr. Shirley Weber not been where she was today, or 2.5 years ago, we would not have been able to present a bill that was able to get to the desk for them to actually present to recommendations to even study the harms in the state of California. And even still today, people who are not aware of the state
Constitution certified base slavery that was implemented through law still argue that it happened when it's on record. It was uncovered through the and on top of that, the hearings were for a reason, for families to show up, to give vocal documentation on record, so that now can be put into a wonderful package that we see that was presented in this final report to be presented to the state and essentially maybe modified over time in areas that were not fully, finished, but presented to the federal government. We need all the states to be doing the same exact thing. When we say that this work is tiring, it's tiring because we never got to this point. Our ancestors didn't get to this point. John Conyers didn't make it to this point, and he did good things trying to get to this point, and he essentially lost his life. It is not enough for us to just have criticism and to be in the lens of skepticism. You have to get to work. You must. I shouldn't have to beg on the spaces as much as we all say we shouldn't have to beg our representatives, but we have never presented to them that we want the harms to be now calculated, documented, and presented. You cannot tell me you're sorry for something and you don't know what that thing that you're sorry that is what makes it a gaslighting thing. And that is why people get fractured and upset, arguing about different names and of the such, because you are not utilizing your voice where it matters. That means to show up.
I just like to say real quick.
Hey, hold on one second, Duncan. Hold on 1 second. Let her finish. Go ahead, Rella.
This is not a strife to any one person. This is a conversation. But it is a realization, not just for you, Duncan, for myself and everybody who has watched reparations around the country take place. The families that are in the communities who are on the fence because they don't believe that we will get it. For the families who do believe we will get it, but they're tired because it's not enough of us showing up consistently. This is for us to hold the mantle and be accountable for what it is that we want to see. So showing up in just one area, but not showing up in front of the correct representative, that's two different things. What California has done has painted a larger picture. And I'm hoping that people will see it. When you have a position of authority, you are able to get people who are going to really push what it is that we want. And I made that clear. Dr. Shirley Weber was in the right place at the right time for someone from the community who's just like me and you to hear that this is something that we are passionate about and we deserve. It is a debt that is owed that needs to be calculated, documented, and presented. And what does that look like for each state? It's going to be different, but the pathway to the template now has been set. It should be now a little bit easier. It's not going to be, like a cakewalk, but it should give people an example of, okay, maybe this is how we start together. Talk to maybe a few people as we're doing that work. We're also working on how do we capture a particular state so that we now say we are going to play this thing out called authority. We are going to stand in the gap of where our ancestors desired for us to be. Because the generation before us were tired, or maybe they thought they were doing the same thing too. The CBC was always in a position of access. They didn't do it. NAACP didn't do it. And they had how many executives who were black? Excuse me, quote unquote. They didn't do it. So who else is left? Us. We are the only ones left. And if we don't do it, the next generation is going to have it even worse. You know why? Because everyone is getting ready to erase what it means to be a Black American, a descendant of freedmen people, from the face of legislation. I joke and I'm upset about affirmative action, but it did exactly what it was meant to do. It gave those who considered themselves or put themselves in a position of minority ahead of our people and making them a menace. Now you have people challenging that, and they're able to come in here as immigrants, as they always do, change their face and start to talk about how we need people of merit, the model minority. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're using language in law against us, the descendants. And I'm tired. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired, and it's time for the big payback. Period.
Yeah, all I wanted to say is, and I appreciate her response, but just to defend myself, that's why I was like, that was a long response without me even be able to have a back and forth. But I will say that even going back to 2016, 2017, not only was I helping Yvette Cardell with the platform, right, of ADOS, right? My name is Joshua Matthews. She can tell you that I was in the street, knocking on doors, getting the word out. But not only that, I was going to town hall. If you're familiar with Alabama politics, John England, a very prominent man in Alabama, I was going to his town hall. I mean John England Jr. But I was going to John England Jr. town hall, speaking with John England Jr. about breaking brown prior to the name of ADOS and the reparations movement. We was making noise back then before the name ADOS. He knew about us. Kay Ivey, I attended speaking with Kay Ivey, right? And I brought reparations to the forefront in that area. And we're talking about a government. See, a lot of times, a lot of people speak about the South not knowing the realities of life that we deal with. We're talking about a governor that wore blackface, right? We're talking about a state versus a state that got legalized marijuana. We're talking about Alabama, a state that still have dry county, where they don't sell beer, right? So the realities of life in Alabama, in Mississippi, it's easy to dismiss someone saying that they haven't been in these spaces. I can keep going. Walt Maddox, when he was running for governor, and his gubernatorial debate, I was there. I brought up, and this is long before the name ADOS, Freedman, FBA was in swing, right? I was there to bring up reparations, about how reparations is needed, even about how HR 40, they're right. It should be studied on the federal level, right? So I was there doing this. So I think it's very dismissive to say that we have not been in these spaces, that we have just assuming that we do all this on the internet. No, it's not like that. And like I said, if you don't live in these places, it's hard to describe the realities of life in rural Alabama, in rural Mississippi, right, in rural Arkansas. It's easy to say that from California. It's very easy. And to say that we haven't been making noise, we haven't been doing the footwork in places like Alabama, that's very dismissive. It's very dismissive of the lives and the reality of the consequences of being a descendant, not just a descendant, but a descendant of slavery and Jim Crow in those southern states. And thank you, and I appreciate everyone.
All right. We're going to get to our final two speakers tonight. We're going to get to Rivera, and then we're going to get to Relic, because then we're going to be closing this space out. So let me go ahead and get to those two speakers. Those are the last two speakers for the night. Tomorrow night, like I said, guys, join us 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our regular Twitter space. YouTube podcast. We'll be doing it tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be talking about the 4th of July, Umar Johnson's thoughts on that, as well as Boyce Watkins saying that basically if you don't know your name, then you're basically not free. So definitely join us for those spaces tomorrow night, guys. Will be in full effect. Rivera, let me get to you. We're going to go real quick, give you guys 3 minutes each, you and Rella, and then we're going to close the space out for the night. So go ahead, Rivera.
Okay. I just kind of listened the last hour or two, and the last thing that I heard from the last two speakers is extremely true. They're both right. People get mad about riding the fence. I like to do that. I don't give a shit about what you think about me riding the fence. I'm going to do it. You're not going to stop me, call me a coon or call me whatever, or divisive. That's what they usually do. So I agree with what the lady said. She said, you got a lot of people on here who kind of do some work, and then, like the gentleman said, he actually goes out. The problem is that this don't mean shit. And we can go into the thing he said too. I'm actually going out and doing stuff, and that's fine. But for me, what I see is there's no recruitment. Now, if you're going to your city and you're getting people to, you're part of whatever group it is, and I know there's these, like she said earlier, about the divisions between the different groups. Somebody's security tribe, somebody's freedom, this and that. That's fine, whatever you want to. Me personally, I don't subscribe to any of that shit. That's just me, and I have my reasons. But there's no recruitment. If you're saying that you got some sort of recruitment in your city, that's fine. But I can ask anybody. I go right down the street right now and ask somebody. I get right on here. Ask a black person, not an African. I don't know. Just how do you know? Please stop doing that too. You gotta stop doing that shit. If you know about security tribe, if you know about FBA, ADOS, hell, I can go to Arkansas. I'm in Oklahoma. I'm right next door to Arkansas. Baby, you know about ADOS? Hell no, I never heard no shit like that. There's no recruitment. Y'all wait on here to do the recruiting, or you show up 3D, which is fine, to whatever meeting that it is, with whatever representative, and they don't give a fuck because nothing's changed. We've been talking about this the last several decades. They ain't changed shit. And think it's to act like just something new that happened, black folks showing up to talk to representatives, that's bullshit. I bet you, we were just talking about friends, I'm going to shut up, I know I got that time. I bet you if we showed up deep, motherfuckers stopped playing around. Bobby Hutton showed up with a shotgun. Motherfuckers stopped playing around. Doorsteps of Oakland court steps. So for me, I'm just a young dude, don't know too much, but I was in the military. The main thing in the military is recruitment and getting rid of the attrition rate, which means keeping people from quitting or showing that the Marine Corps is what you want to join or whatever branch of service. We don't have a lot of it. I can go down the street and tell a motherfucker about the Marine Corps, you know about that, or the Army. Me personally, I think that you guys got some good points, but we got to do a better job of recruiting. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm doing any footwork at all, because I'm not. Zero. I'll be honest. I keep accountability. You know why? Because when I do go out and ask, nobody knows who the fuck none of this shit is. And then when I try to explain it, it's deaf ears. Nobody want to hear that shit. I wish people would, but that's just not the case. So that's it. That's all I want to say. I wish y'all the best, and I hope that y'all can figure that one out without arguing with each other. That's it.
All right. Rella, go ahead. You're going to be the last speaker for the night. You got it.
Thank you. Thank you, Reby and Duncan. First, let me say this, Duncan. My intentions definitely was not to put you in a position where you had to feel like you had to defend yourself. And shout out to you for the work both of you are doing at the capacity that you're both able to do it. My position, and hopefully I'm going to restate this, all of us have probably done a lot of things throughout the years. If politics and voting was important to you, or you are a voter, You saw the issues in your community. We've done a lot throughout the years. But we've never had, I think, the representation. And that was my whole point in pointing out the fact that you had Dr. Shirley Weber in office at the right time for her to take the mantle of the legislation and move it forward. So the mayor that you met with in Mississippi, and I know about the South, I know how congested and hard it can be in the South. If you have a Secretary of State, which you all should have, I would say call them and make an appointment with them. Tell them you would like to meet with them. Take someone with you. The template is what I was pointing to with the final report being done in California, or I should say done and, open to edits, I believe. In the future, I believe they will be, still doing a lot of work on the ground and with different organizations. Ribby is right. Retention, and shout out to all the military servicemen and women, especially all the soldiers who are melanated, American as much as melanated, who are serving in these United States for not just for us, but for the entire United States. I appreciate you. I am come from a military family. I'm going to say to you, if you know what recruitment is needed, required, and you are needed in the fight. I understand why sitting back is sometimes important to protect your peace and sometimes protect your energy and resources, the little that or the lot that you have to reserve for your family. But it is going to be needed for the fight moving forward. So sitting on the fence just depends on where you sit on the fence, and when you decide to hop off, hop off and jump in when you can. When you can't, take your break. I think everybody's really tired of fighting. At least that's what I hear. Everybody's tired of the fractured. I was around when ADOS started. So I'm not new. But I will say that, again, if it's not ADOS and FBA 5-10 years from now, if we don't get this thing right, it's going to be another term that we're going to try to be finding to battle with amongst each other, when the fight has always been, now we go and take it to the court and play. California got in, like I said, with Dr. Shirley Weber. California got in with Dr. Shirley Weber. We have to find the end in each state. If we can't get the end in the next few years, we need to move to a Black majority state, or we need to find a Black majority city, or start to try to condense ourselves into Black majority cities, so that we can now run for positions and get into positions of office. That's going to be important, because if you can't get the legislation in office that you need right now, you have to have a plan. And I work with people who, in spite of adversity, you work on a plan. So that retention that you're talking about, Ribby, I work with people that probably don't even like me. I work with people who probably don't like the tone of my voice. They probably don't like the fact that I talk too much. My father used to always say, stop talking too much. But I think it's a gift for me, because I can get past the fodder.
You gotta land it in a second, Rella.
I'm landing it. And when we get off spaces and get out of the arguments, it's heavy. You gotta decompress. But then you gotta get back into the fight. It's important. So for all the work, again, that you guys have done, I'm not saying that no one has done anything. What I'm saying is we now have a template, a way in, maybe that will help us to do it moving forward a little better. if that makes sense.
All right. Thank you, Rella. I was gonna let you I am because Rella was the last speaker, so I'll let you go up for a minute and get it in because then we gotta close this space out. But go ahead.
I appreciate that, brother. You know, we have to get this clear understanding that nothing happens overnight. You know, a lot of us are struggling, and a lot of us are tired of fighting. And you know, I'm with you. You know, I've been stomping these Timbs for 20 years, and excuse me, sir, in 3 states. I'm tired, but you know what? We have to keep going. We have to keep pushing. You know, when I look in my children's eyes and I look at my grandchildren now, I'm like, listen, I don't want them going through what I'm going through, what my parents and grandparents and so on and so forth went through. You know, the buck has got to stop somewhere, you know? So, you know, don't throw in the towel. Even if you need to take a break. Shit, I took a break. I took a 6-year break because I was so exhausted. But, you know, even if you need to take a break, do that. Get you some me time, spend some time with yourself and your family. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it, but make sure you come back to the work because we have to get this done, and it can't just be a few of us. It has to be a collective. And also, just in that, I'm just going to say that, you know, I'm in the mindset now, I've been doing this for so long, is that, you know, we are being attacked on every side, up, down, left, right. And this is how we need to attack everything that they're throwing at us. Everybody has to participate. It is our obligation to our ancestors to participate. And we have to do everything that we can in our power to get to this win, you know? All I see is that W, and it's right there on the other side of the door, and I swear I can reach that bad boy. But guess what? I'm going to reach that bad boy. You know? But I can't do it by myself. I need y'all to tap in and get into this work and just do your part. You know, you ain't got to do it like me or Dana or Black Majority. You don't have to do it like none of us. Just do your part. Do it like you. You know what I'm saying? That's all we're asking at this point. But we're gonna need all of us in this fight. So, you know, put on, you know, lace up your Timbs, lace up your Nikes, whatever you like to lace up, and let's get to work. You know, if you want to run, go run. You know what I'm saying? If you want to hold town halls for reparations, go make that happen. We really need that. I'm really looking for somebody to help me do this here in North Carolina. Like, seriously. But just do something. You know, we really need you out here. And please don't give up. You know what I'm saying? Most High don't give up on you. Our ancestors don't give up on you. You know, nobody's giving up on you. And if you need help, reach out, you know, seriously. But, you know, I love y'all. Y'all be safe out here this holiday weekend, you know, and just keep focused and stay motivated, family.
All righty. Thank you, I am. And on that note, guys, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna end the space for the night. I did allow one more speaker up here, Sarah. Sarah, did you have something you want to say real quick? A minute, and then we're gonna go ahead and end this space. Is it something you want to say real quick, Sarah?
Yeah, just real short. And it's a tactic thing. I think it was Ruth I that was talking about filling cities and spaces to get so that elections can be won. Part of the way that gerrymandering has been done over the years is, I mean, to take natural advantage of how minorities are more packed into cities than they are into sections of wide open spaces that are overrepresented in House districts, which I know you're talking local still, but it matters.
Okay, Sarah.
Just,
Yeah, we
just
you have to speed up a little bit because, like I said, I'm getting ready to close the space out, so we kind of, kind of get to your point as quick as possible.
yeah. I'm sorry. I was trying to hold the phone away from the dog. um, I just think outside of just concentration, for
Okay.
oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, no, that's fine, Sarah. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you for coming up and speaking, though. But definitely appreciate it. And check us out tomorrow night. We'll have a space tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I just have to run because I have some family affairs and stuff going on tonight. So that's why this space was conducted earlier. But definitely, if you're new to the Newstoter space, check us out Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I appreciate you coming up to the space and trying to go ahead and just give your thoughts on what you feel. But I got to go ahead and run real quick. So for everybody up in the space, guys, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be back at the regular time. I want to go ahead and do this space early tonight so we can go ahead and get it in because I got a bunch of family stuff that we got going on tonight as well, too. So shout out to everybody, the speakers, the listeners. Pretty much I hosted it the whole time. DJ was in here for a little bit, but he's gone. But shout out to everybody up in the space tomorrow night. Like I said, we're going to have a space about Umar Johnson and his feelings on the 4th of July and Juneteenth. And we're going to also be talking about Dr. Boyce Watkins' opinion on basically that if you don't know your name, then you're not free. So check us out tomorrow night, guys. Regular time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I appreciate everybody getting up with us on the shorthand notice. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Everybody be safe and have a safe 4th of July tomorrow as well, too. So peace, everybody, and we'll see you then.